Hey, this is WhyBeAre with Grand Theft Auto 5, and today we're taking a look at a mod for the blimp. And you can't quite tell what it is until you get in it, and when you get in it, you see, oh, it's an Imperial Star Destroyer. Now to spawn this, you can use the cheat menu to do that, but it's kind of hard to find a spot that actually works for that. So the easiest way to spawn it is actually just call in the blimp service and make them spawn it at the airport. If you have them spawn it at the racetrack, it's not as likely to work, it seems like. When you spawn it at the airport, it usually works every time, and you just lift straight up, and then once you're in the air, you can go fly around in your new fancy blimp thing. I mean, it's not a blimp at this point anymore. It's the Imperial Star Destroyer. And it controls just like the normal blimp. You don't have to do anything different to control it. So that means you do have to use the number pad to control it, which has always been kind of unusual for the blimps in the first place. Camera is always wanting to do this angle, which to me kind of sucks. That camera's terrible. And, well, there's no real good alternative camera angle for the blimp. This is the only camera angle you got. So you kind of just have to keep pulling the camera down. Every time it goes up, you say, "No, camera, you stay down." And the first thing I'm going to do is crash into a building, because I think that'll be fun. So doing this, you'll see kind of how the collision works with this, though, because the collisions are not perfect. They're kind of off. Like, you can go inside of it, inside of it, inside of it, inside of it, inside of it. Then it breaks, and it breaks into like 4 different Imperial Star Destroyers somehow, and I don't know what's going on at this point. I think I should get out of this. I like that somehow I just conveniently walk right out onto this little ledge. Like, what are the odds of something like that? That is unbelievable. Alright, so the next thing I want to do, it needs me to spawn up a new one of these, so I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Alright, this is a new blimp, you can tell, because I can actually get in it now. So let's go ahead and try to take off again. And like I said before, on this section, you just want to go straight up. You don't want to go left or right or anything like that. You just straight up, then you start rotating. And it's rotating on its own right now. That's not me. Alright, and the reason for that is just because it can blow up easily on that if you don't do what I said and be careful. I mentioned that before, though, so it's nothing new. And we can just fly around a bit more with this, just so you can kind of see what it looks like in the air. And I mean, you can see just how massive it is. It is so much bigger than the blimp. And then another thing the developer said, he's looking into making it even bigger to be closer to the real size. But like, I don't even know what you would do with something that big. It barely fits as it is in that area there. It's going to be so big if it does get to real size, it'd be crazy. But performance-wise, it's a blimp. You know, the Imperial Star Destroyer cannot destroy this planet, and it cannot go very fast like it could in Star Wars. Imagine if it was this slow in Star Wars. I'm going to destroy this planet in 8,452,768 years. That's how long it's going to take me to get there. But I will destroy that planet. Yeah, whatever you say. Well, I think that about covers the blimp, or the Imperial Star Destroyer, whichever you like to call it. I call it the blimp because it technically is the blimp in game, but you know, it doesn't really look blimpy, does it? Anyways, till next time, it's WhyBeAre. I'll see ya. I'm gonna watch that blimp fall, actually. I'll watch what it do. It look like it's falling out the air, right? I lied, we ain't leaving yet. I'm watching the blimp fall. It's just kind of spiraling. How weird. It just looks weird that the Star Destroyer spirals. It's going to take it a while to get down, though. I mean, well, we could watch it. Why not? And I could just take my parachute right through it, probably. Most of it, at least. I don't know if I want to risk it, though. See if I can kind of swing this up above it before it gets to me. Oh, it's going to be close. Up above it, up above it. Oh, I'm going to get hit really hard if it does hit me. Ooh, I'm alive. Now I can watch it fall from above. It really does look really weird when it falls, though. I want to see it blow up again because there's like a dozen of them when it does. Okay, half dozen. Feels like a dozen though because there's just so many of them. Oh, it's clipping through buildings. It's gonna blow up soon. You know what might work good for this? Is this camera angle. And I could really kind of stare at it and... Oh, it's done. It just disappeared. How weird. It just went poof. And it's gone. I didn't even get to see the wreckage this time. One thing I did notice is sometimes the wreckage will actually blacken the sun. It's really weird. So it's like, it's so big when it wrecks, all you see above you is the remains of it, which is just weird. But that didn't happen. I was hoping it would. Oh well, it's not too important. Anyways, till next time, this is WhyBeAre. I'll see you for real. The next thing I wanted to do was show you what happens when you try to land on the Imperial Star Destroyer, and you kind of just don't. You just fall right through it. Now this is one of the things the developer said he is working on fixing, but on this version, Beta 1.0, it is currently not implemented where you can crash into really any of the parts of the Star Destroyer you see. You can crash the things below the Star Destroyer like I'm doing right now, and some of the original blimp parts that are floating around, but you can't really crash into the Star Destroyer itself. So I think that about covers that, so we can get out of my helicopter and get back into my blimp if I can find the entrance somewhere. I think I need a new blimp. I don't know where the entrance is on this thing. I think it's this way. There it is. I knew it was this way. I don't know if it's going to be able to lift up like this, though, because it's all crooked because I smashed it up with my helicopter. Oh. He won't even get in it, so I guess we gotta get a new blimp again. Alright, so this blimp ended up spawning at the racetrack, so I decided to just do a quick example of what happens when you try to use a blimp that spawns on the racetrack. Yeah, it doesn't exactly go well, does it? So let's go ahead and respawn the blimp at the proper spot.